The squad community can be divided into a few different circles. There are, of course, those who simply play squad in the most straightforward way possible, by enjoying the public servers established by our community. Then there are the milsimmers, such as yours truly, and finally there are the competitive comp players. Now, typically, scrimmages between communities abide by comp rules that are pretty specific. They're usually played on advanced and secure layers, not RAS layers, on smaller maps such as Kokan. Teams are smaller than in public matches, amounting to around 30 players per team. There are specific rules governing what is allowed and what is not allowed, such as main base camping, helo ramming, and the use of fortifications like observation towers. Today, I'm going to show you the second round of a 2-round scrim between the clans Sierra Zulu and Tactical Trigonometry that abides by a rule set that tries to bridge the gap between the different ways of playing squad and emphasizes the large-scale combined arms warfare aspect of squad's gameplay. This is a 48 versus 48 player scrim played on one of squad's larger maps, Gorodok. It is played on a fogless, random advanced and secure. This means that, just like in the regular RAS you see in public matches, neither team knows what the map layer's objective layout will be until they load into the match. All either team has to plan is the 3-minute staging phase, which ensures equity of planning and emphasizes efficient, adaptable, and rapid team organization. However, unlike regular RAS, all the objectives are visible once the match loads in, allowing each team to immediately develop their game plans for the entire match, and also helping the game to develop more rapidly as both teams move to establish control over the relevant portions of the map rather than waiting for the back cap to complete. Most importantly, the rule set is that there are no rules. The entire point here is to try and create what is basically the most organized and intense match of regular squad as possible. We'll be observing the second round of this scrim from admin cam, listening into SZ's command comms. Today's layer is Gorodok RAS V1 with the US Army Combined Arms Unit played by SZ against the Russian Ground Forces Combined Arms Unit played by Tactrig. The objective layout has 7 points, all leading to the northwest corner of the map. Dairy Farm is the middle point, with Hill 57 and Ambush Hill being the third caps for the SC Americans and the TT Russians respectively. Now let's just do a quick terrain analysis here of Gorodok's northwest corner to help you understand the terrain and why this match is going to play out the way it will. The method we will use is known by the acronym ACOCA taught in the military. I think nowadays it's known as OCOC, but we're going to stick with what I know. This will be quick and dirty just to, again, give you a general sense of the terrain and the reasons behind the match's flow. This won't be super detailed or 100% correct. Now, of course, both teams will be aiming for control over the middle capture point, Dairy Farm, to gain a ticket advantage over the enemy, so this will be the focal point of our analysis. The first letter in our acronym ACOCA is O, which stands for Observation and Fields of Fire. With this step, all you're trying to do is establish where the big lines of sight are, which will enable players to see, and if need be, shoot at different areas of the map. Immediately, the standout features here are the big open fields, which offer long sight lines from the various tree lines, ridges, and hills on the map. The open fields themselves are broken up by some ridge lines, meaning that they can each be broken down into sections. Second, we have C, which stands for cover and concealment, and these are the areas of the map that protect troops from enemy observation and fire. So of course, the big features to keep in mind here are these forests, hills, and buildings that provide shelter to anybody occupying them. The aforementioned ridgelines also act as cover from direct observation and fire. Next, we have another O, and this one stands for obstacles. These are terrain features on the map that stop, impede, slow, or divert movement. Now, infantry can pretty much go anywhere unaffected on this map. There aren't any major bodies of water. For vehicles, however, those same forests that I previously highlighted act as pretty significant obstacles that channel their movement through these open areas. Fourth in ACOCA, we have a K, which stands for key terrain. These are any areas of the map which, if controlled, will provide one side with a marked advantage over the other. These are not objectives, just map features that are really comfy to fight from. And here, the major features are definitely the forest around Fruit Farm, which can be used to look north toward the open fields east of Dairy Farm, and the hills and forest on Matreno Hills, which not only dominate the area south of Dairy Farm, but also Hill 57 open and the American logistics lines back to their main. And then we have these various ridge lines peppered along the north side, which can again be used to dominate those open spaces. And last but not least, we have the letter A in Akoka, which stands for Avenues of Approach. These are simply the routes that troops can take to their objectives or key terrain. Starting for the US side, the most obvious route is through this western road leading up to Dairy Farm. Of course, these open areas are also great routes for their vehicles to take, but overall you can see they're limited to a relatively narrow corridor running north to south. For the infantry, all of the forested areas are their oyster, giving them lots of space to maneuver under cover and concealment. The Russians have a couple of different roads they can use, one of which leads directly to Dairy Farm, but both provide easy access to Fruit Farm. That said, the open spaces to the north will give Russian vehicles lots of extra room to maneuver to also reach Dairy Farm from the east, with long sight lines for their optics and weaponry. For pure infantry, the Russians are a bit more limited, having to swing south through Fruit Farm and Matreno hills to reach Dairy Farm from the south. There is also the option of using the various tree lines and ridges up top to approach Dairy Farm from the north. So that about introduces the battlefield upon which this match will be fought. I encourage you to keep this terrain analysis in mind as you watch the game unfold. Also, here are the vehicle lists for each side for your reference. I won't bother reading them out to save time, and let's dive right in with Sierra Zulu playing as the American team and their planning during the staging phase.
Falcon will go to
Copy.
Hill 57.
At the match start, the American team aims to establish control over key terrain around the middle point, Dairy Farm, with their infantry. This means the forest and hill around Matreno Hills in Greek coordinates Bravo 4 and Charlie 4, and the forest around Fruit Farm at Delta 4. The rollout will be preceded by a recon element taking the form of a MAT-V to push along the western edge of the map and ascertain the composition and disposition of Russian forces approaching Dairy Farm.
Well, are we going to cap Dairy or are we going to farm it?
We're gonna have to farm it. We're not gonna be able to take it. Well, I mean, if
In the meantime, you can see the Russian team's markers coming down the map. They plan on pushing east along the northern edge of the map, while their first major offensive sweeps Fruit Farm to try and seize that key terrain.
rally down the edge of the map here.
And here we are, the match is live, and we are rolling with the American team. This time the American team is SZ, with the Russian team being TT. Most of the team will be going to roughly the same location here, of course, to the top left corner of the map. We've got a Matt V taking the lead at the head of the convoy, followed by a transport truck and 2 lodges. The rest of the Matt V's moving up.
So that Vic is out. That's where they'll send it in the car.
Coming up on the rear are the 2 strikers. Let's look at the progress of TT's rollout. They've got a very similar formation, a big column moving down the road to the northwest corner of the map. The Russian advance guard consists of a Tiger light vehicle with 2 BTR-82As following behind.
Hey, Russian heli.
Looks like we're about to get an encounter between the Matt V and the Tiger. Tiger is looking in roughly the right direction, but the Matt V might be able to get the drop on him. But no, they do not get the spot on each other.
Logi here at Dairy, that'll be interesting. For a half.
The Tiger pushing in south, past its American counterpart.
Armor, Delta 3.
The American team is quicker to reach Dairy Farm and begins to establish initial control. Oh, looks like the BTRs are currently engaging the American infantry.
Armor, Delta 3, by the way.
Copy.
Send us small squad.
Making use of a low ridge line, the Russian BTRs remain concealed while the American strikers advance to search for them. We have the 2 American strikers rolling up in this open field in search of the BTRs. The 2 BTRs are lying on the other side of this hill here in a reverse slow position in defilade. Engines off. The American strikers are of course unaware that they're there. The BTRs are engine on as the strikers come around the hill. 2v1, the BTRs are lighting up that first striker. It stands no chance with that 50 cal. The second striker is now left alone. Pushes in anyways, and it is alone at 50 cal versus 2 30mm autocannons getting hit from both ends. Ooh. could have gotten some friendly fire between the two BTRs if they weren't careful, but they quickly dispatched that second striker. The two strikers are unable to coordinate their push, unfortunately, which was more important for them than ever if they were going to win that engagement. But instead of the strikers taking the BTRs out in detail, it was the BTRs engaging and destroying the strikers in detail. And here we have the BMP-2. The Russian armor establishes control over the open areas to dairy farms east. I'm seeing red markers as we have Russian infantry in dairy farm. The two sides are vying for control of this middle point so that when the back cap advances, they can immediately begin capturing if they so decide to. Let's take a look at the map here and see what else is going on the map. To the southeast, the Russian infantry begins attacking the American Delta 4 FOB at Fruit Farm. Brett, the leader of a four-man element that just completed the back cap of Boar Hunters Club, cruises in to drop off two squad members in a rally to help defend that radio.
Squad 10's coming to help Fruit from the south. We'll have a rally down here in a minute.
Get back to get supplies. I'll be back in a couple minutes together.
Great job. We got the objective.
Brett immediately rearms his rally before moving back to his team's FOB at Hill 57. The Russians quickly proxy the American HAB and begin digging down the radio. Mortars landing on this position as American infantry tries to push in.
Stein, can you get that Logi right next to you and get to Fruit? Get the dairy?
This is in fact an American radio that we currently have two Russian infantrymen on. They're about to get an early radio kill.
If we can rip that
The American team is going to need to push in quickly if they want to try and save this. So those are American mortars currently falling on this position to try and take out infantry. SWATbot is able to take out Bean as he pushes through that entrance, and it looks like there are no more Americans nearby to be able to try and save that radio. We have Walk of Doom coming in from the south.
Stein is taking the Logi back to get supplies.
With the radio on bleed, American infantry races to try and save it. Throws a grenade near that entrance. SWATbot is now alert, aware that there is still enemy infantry nearby that he will have to contend with.
Ammo, please.
Slammed, coming out, peeking out from the entrance. Nope, he's looking the wrong way. Does not see Walk of Doom. Walk of Doom engages and takes out Slammed, but Walk of Doom is then refragged. Was there someone behind him? Or was it from inside? It looks like SWATbot was able to get that kill on him. American team, knowing that their radio is lost, begins bombarding that area with their mortars. The gaps in that rooftop allowing the mortars to affect the inside of the structure. We have Dusty engaging from the south, engaging SWATbot. Frogman pushes up on his flank, guns him down.
Yeah, sure.
And Dusty had attempted to break a hasty retreat there, but was caught out in the open. Now we have more American infantry pushing in from the western flank. Edwin and Birdie engaging Frogman. Frogman goes prone in the defilade to try and get into cover, but he is taken out by long-range shots.
What do you want 3AR to do once...
That looks like it was Tree. Oh, but look at this. It's Chris Webby behind...
So you guys know, I died.
Behind the American infantry. Is able to pick up a kill on Tree before tagging Flatlander. Now we have Edwin up front pushing in. Will he... This radio is already gone, so all they can do is try and clear out some of this American infantry, Russian infantry, excuse me, and pulls into the house just in time. Is able to get a kill on Kerma, but SWATbot is able to get the refrag on Edwin. The Russians score a second early victory as they kill the American radio at Fruit Farm. Here we've got the two Russian BTRs moving in from the south side. Dairy Farm itself is currently under American control. The American team adapts to the situation, opting to defend Dairy Farm, which they were able to secure control of, as well as the Matreno Hills northeast of Hill 57 in the Charlie 4 grid square. Tickets are currently 253 to 298. in the Russian team's favor. TT is still winning in terms of tickets. The 2 strikers that were lost by the American team, of course, being the decisive factor there. Hot Bunny Bitch from Space Jam is currently getting engaged by the American Lav. Takes some hits, but he flies super low to the ground to avoid that fire, and he is out of there. The Russian infantry moves to mop up the American infantry that have been attempting to save the fruit farm radio. Tree trying to get a revive on some of his squad mates, but we have Russian infantry pushing up on his position. Conflict PL might be able to hear the bandage, but the background noise of the mortars probably covers it up very, very well. Tree checking his 6 every so often, but Maverick is pushing in right up against them. Catches Tree in the face. Bean is up, but he is black and white, unhealed. He shoots Maverick through the wall there.
I'm doing grenade.
But Bean has enemies pushing up behind him, and he is quickly taken out from 2 directions. Good movement by TT. In the meantime, Brett, covering his team's rear against Russian main campers, encounters a lone enemy Hat trying to harass his back lines.
I should be on the east side.
I can hold front line defense. I can drop the bottom. So
Oh, enemy! Ran over an enemy.
west and south of Derry.
They destroyed the UAV. They destroyed the UAV.
We need
UAV.
The Russians have a lone Hat quick, along with the BTR in support, trying to get some kills
Can we recover the lodging
off of those American vehicles coming out of Maine. That BTR is able to get that kill on the Mat V. American logistics, reliant on a narrow corridor leading from their main, are severely hampered by this gauntlet. There you go, you can see that BTR rolling up in the burning wreckage of the Mat V over on the right side of the screen. Now here we are on this southern hab radio of the American team. They're getting pushed by the Russian team. That BTR is rolling up to the south. The Russian BTR, with the fresh kill under its belt, pushes up toward the American FOB at Hill 57. SC focusing on defending to try and play for tickets. Lat engages that BTR. And the BTR is able to kill that Lat as he did not reposition after he fired. Will there be more hits coming out? But yes, second hit on the BTR. But the BTR's autocannon fire is just so powerful. I don't think they will be able to finish it off. The BTR is moving very slowly though, so it must have gotten hit in the engine there.
BTR is moving really slow south. Is that BMP marked accurate?
We can hear that call out coming in command comms. Satiros is moving up. He might be looking for the finishing shot here.
BTR is running towards Hill 57.
Oh, and we can see a second BTR coming in to help, but behind that BTR is the American Abrams coming in to try and get a kill on both pieces of armor. The tables are quickly turned on the Russian armor as the American team closes in. Both BTRs are currently caught out in the open. Does the Abrams get the spot on them? Yes, he does. He engages. Oh no, but the tank is getting hit by a flanking shot. BTRs pop smoke. One goes down. The Russian Hat, spotted earlier, attempts to assist the armor by tracking the Abrams. Abrams in the flank there, but he goes down to the 50 cal RWS on the tank. The surviving BTR attempts to escape as the immobilized Abrams is unable to pursue.
One BTR was destroyed.
Alright, where's Gray at? Hey, Gray, where you at, man?
Will they be able to spot this second BTR? They can see that it is smoking. So he knows he's there. He's looking that way, and he looks away. Looks like that BTR just took a hit from something. Let's go take a look at what that was. American Infantry AT lands a shot on the BTR, immobilizing it and preventing it from escaping. And here's Satiros, who we saw chasing after the BTRs earlier. He is doggedly pushing the pursuit. The Abrams gets another shot at that BTR and is able to finish it off. Good work from that American tank player. Good work from the American armor players. At Matreno Hills, the Russians conduct an infantry attack to seize control over the hills in Charlie 4. Looks like the Russian infantry is conducting an attack to seize control over this hilltop. You see no FOBs, no HABs, no radios, but you see a lot of rallies that both teams are fighting off of, and the battle is to burn the opposing team's radios here.
They're pushing in through C4
And there's
right
infantry
now.
as well. We're gonna try to push some rallies on the northwest here, or northeast here.
Wookie looks like he's got enemy infantry coming in from his southern flank here. Yep, the Russians are rolling up.
Crashed.
TT players moving in from the south.
Nice shot.
Nice.
Need to get rid of this.
Wookie getting engaged but not hit yet.
Hey,
The two are in a 1v1 gunfight. Wookie leaning and peeking. He gets suppressed, but he looks like he has Russian infantry pushing up from behind him. We have Hexman coming up. Florida Man gets gunned down from
10 minutes until Arnie.
from his rear as he's looking at Hexman. Wookie is now left alone and surrounded. This is a very difficult position to be in. He's between a rock and a hard place. Hexman is trying to peek over that rock to get a look at Wookie. And Wookie starts firing, but not soon enough as Hexman guns him down on top of that rock. Simultaneous to the southern battle, the Americans defend against an attack along the northern edge of the map. Looking up to the north, we see that there is the Russian BMP engaging with Russian infantry. Martian goes down to that coax.
ammo on the mortar fob.
Prodigy and Oscar Mike
Markers to yourself. Dude,
down the way low, not get seen by that BMP-2.
We're behind him.
Oh, he gets spotted and gets gunned down by that coax.
Oh, they're being peasy.
Prodigy crawling away, trying to stay
the BMPs
low.
are there.
Russian infantry advances across the open with the support of a BMP-2. American infantry maneuvers to engage them from the flank.
Another
Over on the
rally
left
down
here,
to
you can
push
see
C4.
South Solomon,
There's
Skype,
a lot of enemies.
and
Good
Biggest
C4.
moving in on a flank. They might be able to get some good engagements.
Our front line
Yep, they are able to take out that
that
Russian infantry on the forward slope of that hill.
Well,
The
they're
BMP
rallying
knows they're there
south
now.
side of
Do
Derry.
they have AT to
North
try and
side of
engage this
Hill
BMP
57.
or drive it away?
Hey, build a rep if you need it.
Solomon is down.
BMP's right.
Looks like South might be too. Oh, there goes Biggest. His body goes flying after he gets hit by autocannon fire. Yep, and that entire four-man element is indeed down.
If we can refrain on spamming these hell markers that are not
BMP
clear.
fire.
Zakafel getting
Northeast
taken out,
areas.
looks like by Magis. And for the time being, with the BMP beating a retreat, the American team has established control over this area, but back to the south, it looks like we have more infantry engagements as the Russian team TT looks to push in on Dairy Farm from the south and establish control over this hilltop here.
BMP's going south.
Bread Egg
Pouring back from there.
is down, having been surrounded by Russian infantry. We can see the Americans occupying positions to the south.
Someone switch rally up here.
Really hard to head up to the front lines as well.
Chris Webb, completely unaware of Florida Man over behind him. Florida Man, of course, being very patient, exercising good trigger control, making sure that if he's going to fire, he's going to be able to get that kill.
Dead on mortar, dead on mortar.
Fury, can you look
Does
at
he
that
have
tank?
an angle? He might not quite have a good shot. Moves over a little bit to the left. Does get a good look at his head. Boom, headshot. Single shot does the job.
North Hilltop.
Mortar fire coming in.
To Derry?
Maverick running up on Flatlander. Flatlander is able to easily get that kill as Maverick was not ready for a fight there.
I'm here.
Yeah, you have Gray to the south.
We're here.
Solomon.
You're pushing.
Two Russian infantrymen
UI.
looking south. Flatlander almost hit by a grenade, goes prone.
So we have Brett here.
We can
have
see
Doom,
Kerma
like,
pushing
naked
up to try and
positioning
confirm
over
the
here.
kill.
We're just getting
Looking in the
close
wrong
up.
direction as Flatlander has displaced from his original position. Gets a couple of shots, but one of them is a limb shot. So despite 2 hits, Kerma is still up. He's able to take the time to bandage. Flatlander does not push aggressively as he's in survival mode right now. The striker rolls up though. Does not get the spot on Kerma.
Yeah, Brett and Gray hold north. Doom holds southern side.
Oh, is the striker stuck on the rocks? No, it is okay. He's going to turn around. Oh, Flatlander getting spotted and engaged by SwapBot. Good kill from SwapBot, but now the striker is here and
Can we get him?
lights him up with the 50 cal, but SwapBot somehow surviving,
No ammo.
hides inside those rocks. The striker decides that it should not hang around as there is a lack of friendly infantry, and it beats a hasty retreat over to the west. As the striker retreats, Brett, the squad 10 lead, pushes up to search and destroy that Russian infantry.
BMP's coming back in. We got AKs from Derry.
We're going to take a moment here, take a look at the map, and get an overview of the current situation. It looks like the bulk of the fighting is still in this area around this hilltop. Up on the north side, you can see Squad 13 led by Solomon holding positions there. Despite the American team playing a defensive strategy, just trying to hold on to Dairy Farm, they are in a greater ticket deficit than before, 160 to 237. It seems like most of the battles that have been playing out have not been playing out to their favor. On Dairy Farm itself, the American Bradley occupies a very strong fighting position from which it can defend the objective.
BMP's coming back in. We got AKs from Derry.
And we're seeing the American Bradley here engaging Russian targets up on the hilltop. They have a pretty good position where they can see that Russian infantry. They have a repair station parked up right behind it, so if they do get hit, they're able to quickly resupply and repair. Very strong defensive position for this Bradley. It is able to easily make use of hold down positions and this defilade on either side. Once again, we're back at the battle for C4 Hill. The battle continues fierce as ever. Vitamins pushing up from the west as Brett Egg leads his squad up from the south. As those mortars fall in, Brett Egg will be pushing north into Russian infantry. They're taking a nice, slow, and methodical, keeping their stamina up to be able to win those gunfights when they encounter enemies. Oh, Frogman pops up from ahead, guns down Brett Egg. Freshbox Live is able to get that refrag on him, so good shooting from him. Now with that medikit, he will be able to heal himself and revive and heal Bredig very quickly. Despite a solid effort, the Russian attacks are beginning to take a toll on the Americans, and the Matreno Hill's defense begins to crack.
We're starting to lose the hill.
Yeah, they're pushing in from the south side of the hill, it looks like.
Pushing south.
The calling coming in from the American command comms that the C4 Hill is now falling to the Russian team. To the north, the Russian team leverages their entire complement of armor to begin an aggressive attack on Dairy Farm. Catch a sight of Stein, engages them in the open field. Open field, not a good place to be if you're infantry. Oh, looks like something just blew up over there in the distance. What was that? Oh no, it looks like it's the Bradley. The American Bradley is down. It has been destroyed. Not sure by what. But now the Russian team is getting very aggressive, conducting an offensive on Dairy Farm. You've got both BTRs and the BMP pushing in, hosing down those buildings with their autocannons and 30mm fire. The BMP, cognizant of enemy infantry in close proximity, begins smoking as it pulls out from that compound. An American striker, lightly armed and armored, attempts to escape to the south. We also have the T-72 over here to the south. That striker running for its life from the T-72. The T-72, not realizing that the striker has moved all the way down south, is looking over to the west. He's probably going to guess, yep, he knows now that the striker has fallen back to the south and chases after it. But being on tracks, it will not be able to catch that vehicle on wheels unless he's able to get a clear shot here. Is the gunner going to see him before? Oh, a snapshot just before the striker gets over that ridgeline, but misses, and the striker will live to see another day. T-72 doggedly chases after him, so let's look at the map here as we're following this action here.
There's one a Tiger.
They're on Hill 57 Hab.
To the south, the Russians gained control over Hill 57. So we are going to go to Hill 57, where there was a call out that there is Russian infantry on the American HAB here. And yes, we've got TT on the SC radio here. Mortars are falling in. The radio is located inside of this tent. But looks like the mortars were able to take one of them down. Dr. OP reviving Leviton as we have American infantry pushing up. Falcon down is crawling over. The Leviton is watching that entrance. The two-man element taking the American radio is supported by a very close mortar barrage, preventing any defenders from reaching them. And those mortars, that's a very good fire mission. Of course, danger close for those friendlies, but it was able to completely shut down this fire team / element coming in to reclaim that radio. So now we have Leviton pulling security as Dr. OP begins digging down that radio. Really impressive fire mission from TT with absolute precision hitting the western side of that tent and not a meter closer. That radio is on bleed. Both Russian infantrymen pulling security on this entrance. Cool as a cucumber as their own mortars fall around them. There's a fresh wave of American infantry coming in to try and reclaim that radio rather. Walk of Doom leading his squad in.
Yeah, this radio's gone.
Oh, but Glizzy gets engaged from a flank as Hexman and Cat show some good positioning, standing off to one flank.
Do you want me to put a
Cat is taken out,
UAV
and that radio is now gone, so this Russian infantry element is on the move. With their fob to the south destroyed, the American team makes their stand on Dairy Farm. Heavy push being called to the northeast of Dairy Farm, so it looks like the Russian team is making a bid to try and take this objective from the Americans. I'm seeing the BMP operating in close support of friendly infantry. Very good use of combined arms tactics. Oh, what is that? A anti-tank hit there on Drizzle.
They're probably not defending it that much.
Driver of that vehicle is currently out conducting a repair while the gunner stays in the turret to continue engaging enemies.
Back quickly, but
Yeah. Great, lucky. People on Dairy need to make the call if we can send a squad.
I'm very ignored.
Our HABs proxies, they're
Oh, and the American team's HAB is now proxied as the Russian Tiger pushed up right to the HAB to discourage a couple of infantrymen who are now on the HAB, camping it. Swap out is down, so it looks like Sleepy Frogman is too, so it looks like it's just Maverick. Maverick takes out Wall. Blizzy coming in. Blizzy and Martian. Who's gonna see who first? Blizzy coming in through the HAB. He calls clear on the HAB. Oh, and Maverick and Glizzy trade. That HAB is now unproxied as there was only one Russian on it, so the Americans will be able to respawn on that HAB. The BMP is now smoking and retreating as most of its friendly infantry seems to be... Nope, they're still in that tree line, but there was Sus Penguin up close, which has spooked the BMP and caused it to reposition. It is not fallen back, it is simply rotating to a different location to continue supporting that Russian infantry pushing up on Dairy Farm. The Russian northern attack begins to close on the objective. Looks like TT is able to win much of the gunfights here as it clears out this tree line and now begins to approach Dairy Farm. The Russian T-72 coming in from the south. Wookiee caught outside of the fence line. Is he going to get spotted?
Protect Dairy Farm.
No, somehow does not catch a 125mm shell to the back as that T-72 rolls in from the south of Dairy Farm. Picket count coming in 36 to 147. A huge respawn wave from the American team, and that T-72 puts an HE shell into that HAB. Absolutely disastrous outcome for a team that just respawned. And now here come the Russian mortars directly on target. From the south, Brett's squad has eyes on the T-90's rear and moves to engage. as the majority of the manpower. Oh, looks like the T-72 just took a shot from its rear. It is now engined. The turret rotates around from the hab to try and engage that AT. Quickly takes out Satiros, who is that hat kick gunner. So that was a hat round that hit the T-72 in the rear. This is a T-90, excuse me. I've been calling it a T-72 when it is in fact a T-90. We have Freddy coming in from the south. More American AT arrives to begin pouring shots. Another anti-tank hit. Total of 3 hits on the T-72 now. It is engined, it is tracked, and looks like it might be on its last legs if the American team can just get a few more shots on there. However, those mortars hitting that American hab are preventing any new players from respawning, not to mention the tank itself camping that hab. Alat gets a rearm, gets another flanking hit. Now the tank is on fire. It is only a matter of time before it goes down. Very good kill by the American team. They may be 100 tickets short, but they are going to go down swinging. Despite this loss, the Russians press the attack. And we've got Russian infantry pushing up close from the north of the hab. Micro Meat Man is coming in, trying to take a look. Tags Falcon down through that smoke. Very difficult situation to be in a gunfight as you can't see much. Not to mention the mortars coming in. Falcon down, comes in with the pistol. Oh no, misses his pistol shots, and he is shot from a different angle by Koenig PL. Only the smoke is preventing the Americans from getting picked off one by one. And we've got Koenig's PL on the right, engaging through that open doorway. He throws a grenade, but he gets engaged and killed. Was that no, that was Keko prone in that field. Koenig is not looking at Keko, but Keko knows he's there.
15 tickets.
15 tickets for the American team as they make a desperate last stand.
Hey, they're pushing south. They're on the south building. South building. 2.
Keko has mortars landing very near him, forcing him to move.
I got 1 pistol.
Oh, and here comes Keko coming in on Koenig. He pulls out his knife and gets a knife kill on Koenig PL. Keko pulls off a knife kill. Absolutely great play. Exercising good patience. Now he's got a good position here with eyes out to the Russian infantry pushing on from the south. Excuse me, from the east side, but he's looking the wrong way. Micro Meat Man is crossing the open. But looks like Keko is looking at this neighboring building that the Russians have completely taken stock in. Oh, but he does get eyes on Micro Meat Man getting that kill as he moves along the outside of that wall. Tactician is prone there too, but I don't think Keko knows he's there. We are at 8 tickets remaining as the Americans continue pouring in towards this hab, this time from the west side. The SC American players fighting valiantly as they make their last stand inside of this barn. Who is left? We have the medics working overtime to try and revive and heal as many players as possible, but a grenade gets thrown inside, clearing out all of them. It is Florida Man, Oscar, Mike inside the hab. Drizzle comes in, takes out Florida Man, but Oscar, Mike, and Satiros are able to take him out.
Yeah, that's it.
And it is game over. Wow, what a finish there. Ending tickets were 120-0, but I will say SC there had a good showing. Very well played from them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that scrim between Sierra Zulu and Tactical Trigonometry. That was a very good game there. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with a friend that you think might enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.